That's right. Good afternoon, everybody. Hey, it's me, Ann Eller, and I have a very special guest, but let's do a check. Are we live on the radio? Yes, we are live on the radio. Are we live on Facebook? Yes. Do I have the mics on? Yes. Do I have a guest? Yes, I do. I have Shelly Reid here this afternoon. So this is really an honor to have him in studio. He came in the door and immediately started reminiscing about those were the days. How are you doing today, Shelly Reid?
I'm fine, Ann. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Now, you worked here at WCRS years ago.
I did. I worked right here. It was my third radio job.
Right.
Started off at WABV in Abbeville, went to GSW in Greenwood, and eventually wound up here. That's probably been about 83, 84, 85, somewhere along. I think I was here about two, maybe 3 years.
Right.
And yeah, I got a big, after 40 years, a big sense of deja vu when I walked in the door.
Yes. I said, were those good times? And he goes, in the beginning. Well, let's just be brutally honest here today. Well, your career certainly has taken a wide range, always in the arts pretty much. I guess if we had the Rough House in there, do you consider that art?
It can be. Yeah, I've made some fairly artistic hot dogs before, but that was just a way, in my mind, that was just a way to make a living until I could make a living doing something artistically.
Right. And I was very interested to see you went to Berkeley for music. Mm-hmm. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, Michael Newell over here at Newell's Music. Mm-hmm. We played together in bands in high school, and we both decided we were going to go to Berkeley and we were going to be big jazz rock fusion musicians.
Wow. So
we both went to Berkeley, and when I got up there, I was a bass player, and when I got up there, I thought coming from a small town, I thought I was hot.
Right, of course.
And when I got up to Berkeley and saw some of those other cats playing bass, I cried for a week.
Did you really?
And then I switched over to theory arranging, and I was pretty good at that. So
right.
I stuck with theory arranging.
Sure. I think Eric Butler went to Berkeley, too. He's from Ware Shoals, I think.
I'm not familiar with him.
But I think he was a little later than you guys, maybe.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think... isn't that always the way, though? Coming from a small town, it takes a lot of kahunas to go to a bigger school that is really well known mm-hmm. and survive. I mean, let's just take Freddie McClendon. Mm-hmm. I mean, look at what Freddie has done. He has survived. He made it to American Idol. Pretty big steps for somebody in his freshman year.
Yes, he's done very well for himself.
And so I can feel your pain. I can feel your pain. Anyways, so you did that. Then so what did you do afterwards? You came back to Abbeville? You
came back. I went for a year. Michael got his degree. Of course, he's made a career out of music at his music store. After a year, this old Southern boy couldn't take those Boston winters.
They're cold. Yes.
Yeah.
I went to school in Northfield, which is in the western part of Massachusetts. Yes.
So I decided I needed to change of venue. So I went to the University of Miami in Florida for a year.
That was quite a change.
That was a big change. The weather was absolutely wonderful, but the bad part about that is I flunked out.
You were having too much of a good time?
No, not really. What happened at Berkeley is a jazz school, and they teach the jazz method.
Right.
So I learned everything jazz-wise. When I went to the University of Miami, everything was classical. And even though I knew it, I didn't know it in their language and their philosophy and so forth. And it was really difficult for me to make that transition. And at some point, I just gave up and said, to heck with it. Came on back to Abbeville and went to Lander.
Well, that was a good choice. That was a good
Lander,
choice.
I don't know if they still do or not. Do they still have a music department at Lander?
Yeah.
Okay, Lander's, when I was there, Lander's music department was really, really good. I learned more at Lander than I learned at the University of Miami.
Yeah, they have a really good, Robert Gardner, who's just retired from Lander, and they have and of course, I'm sure when you were there, the couple that played piano,
right, the Lenties,
yeah. I'm sure they were there. Yes, so yeah, I mean, they really put Lander on the map for music.
I know about, that Lander has music. My son plays with the Lander concert and jazz bands. He goes to Lander. He plays trombone. And so I knew that they had music going on, but I'm afraid I just haven't kept up with it enough to know if they still teach theory, arranging, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure what all they teach. But anyway, so you get through all this, and then you decide you're going to keep with the music. You played with, what, Brasstown?
I played with a band called Brasstown Ball. John Waldrop, who used to run Sharp's Formal Wear here in Greenwood. I've known John a really long time, and we put a band together, and it kind of grew from there and wound up being, good gosh, I think we had 6 or 7 pieces, and we toured all over South Carolina, Georgia, some in North Carolina. I think the farthest we played was Mobile, Alabama, and that's a grueling thing to be in a band that travels around, and that was a deciding factor in me going back to theater.
Going back to theater and buying the Rough House?
Yeah. When I got out of radio in 1987, I was working at WCKN in Anderson. I'm not sure what the call letters are now. And I was thinking about going to Charlotte looking for a radio job. And I heard that the Hagen brothers were going to sell the Rough House. And, of course, it's an Abbeville institution. And
right.
I thought, well, heck, maybe I ought to contact them and see if they want to sell it to me. And that would give me a way to make a living until I can do something artistically, like be an actor or whatever. And they sold the business to me, and I ran the restaurant, ran the Rough House for 29 years.
Now, let me ask you something. Did they tell you their secret technique for making great hot dogs?
The secret is in the chili.
In the chili.
Right. And Mr. Bob Hagen, who I admire, Mr. Bob Hagen and Mr. Walt Hagen, both who I admired a lot over the years. Mr. Bob, he didn't give me that recipe until he had my check in his hand. And I don't blame him.
Right.
And people ask me all the time, tell me what the Rough House chili recipe is.
Have you ever told it?
No. When I sold the Rough House to Darrell Kay back in, I guess it's been about 7 years ago, I gave the recipe to him, but I'm sworn to secrecy on that. I have not told a soul what the recipe is.
Sworn to secrecy.
Yeah.
I love it.
Trade secret.
Well, I would just be, I just think that sometimes going back and thinking about the history and what made you, when you were young, what did you want your life to be? Because we all have visions of what we're going to do with our life, right?
Oh, man. When I was a kid, I didn't have any idea about what I wanted to do.
Well, as you got to be 17, 18, 19.
Yeah, I wanted to be an artist, and I did that for a really long time.
Painting?
Painting, oil painting, and watercolors and so forth. But I realized very soon on that's a really tough gig to break into, to get to a point where you're able to sell your work.
Right.
So I started looking for other ways to be artistic.
So do you still paint?
No, I haven't painted in years. It's just something I used to do, and I don't do it anymore. It's kind of like music. I used to do music, and I don't do that anymore either.
How about though when you are like creating the movie Long Shadows? Do you have anything to do with the music?
Interestingly, when I was at Berkeley, I studied theory and arranging, and music. A piece of music, a song, has a beginning and a middle and an end, and hopefully it tells a story that people are interested in. So in a lot of ways, music was a good education for me on writing screenplays because a lot of the mechanics are the same.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That interesting. But I'm sure the scores and everything, did you have anything to do with those, or did you say, no, I like that, let's keep going?
No, I know a lot of screenwriters listen to music when they're writing.
Yeah.
And that seems to help them, and everybody's different. For me, I cannot listen to music when I'm writing. I have to have total silence because I love music so much, and I listen to music all the time, and I listen to a lot of different types of music, that if I start listening to music when I'm trying to write, I won't be writing anymore. I'll be grooving to the music and thinking about the music, and I won't get any writing done. So,
Right.
So I don't listen to music when I write,
Yeah,
or it's not even going through my head either.
Not even going through your head. Well, tell us a little bit, and then we're going to jump back again, but tell us a little bit about the movie, your screenplay, Long Shadows, and how did that come about? I mean, okay, how did it come about? There you go.
It was a miracle.
A miracle. It's a miracle.
Things just lined up perfectly. I had written a Western, a high action Western, for another production company in Texas. And the more I wrote the story, the more I realized the sheriff character. I said, this is a Granger Hines role. I've known Granger since 1987. We did The Rainmaker together back then. And so I sent it to him, asked him to give it a read and tell me what he thought. And he called me I think it was the next morning, and said, have you sent this out yet? I said, no. He said, I've got a guy that's looking for a Western. His name is William Shockley. I'd like to send it to him. I said, by all means, send it to him. And I've been in this position before where you send scripts to production companies and producers, and you never hear anything back.
Right.
So I felt Granger was just going to send my script to William, and that would be the end of it. I wasn't expecting anything to happen. William read the script, and he loved it. And so that's where it started, and pretty soon Granger, William, and I were in the process of rewriting it for gearing it toward a shooting script, which is a lot different than an original screenplay. And gosh, I think we worked about an hour, about a year on it. Sometimes we'd have Zoom calls that would last 6 hours. And Granger in Brooklyn, New York, William in San Diego, and Shelly Reid in Abbeville, South Carolina. And we Zoomed a lot and rewrote the script and got it into a shooting script. And then it was produced at Old Tucson Studios in Arizona in 2023.
Now, how is it to be the person that wrote the original and to be working with two other people to do the screenwriting? Did you have any, no, I like it this way, or were you, okay, whatever, how much are you paying me? No.
Yeah, I've been around the business and I know enough about it that if you're inflexible to
Right.
making changes to your script and you just refuse to make changes, they'll just say, okay, thanks. And they'll find another script from another writer because they just don't want to deal with you. The thing is, if you work with people in the industry who have a history of making films, you got to assume they know what they're doing. And that was the way it was with me. There were some things that I did argue with them on it. And sometimes they listened to me and we left it the way it was. And then other times some things that I really liked, we took out of it. But overall, in the end, we wound up with a far better script with Granger's input and with Williams' input. We came up with a far better script than my original. So I'm happy as I can be with it.
Well, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great because sometimes you hear stories about people's original. Well, you hear this a lot with books. With books, I think, where somebody's written a book and then they change the story so much that they don't recognize the book, the person that wrote it, the author, and you hear a lot of that.
Yeah, that would be really tough because you sat down for a couple of years, and you wrote a book that's like, how many pages are books these days? I don't know, a couple of 100, 200, 300 pages.
At least, yeah.
But the thing is, I mean, and of course this is obvious, is movies and books are two completely different media.
Sure.
And it's extremely tough to take a book and compress it all down into an hour and 40-minute movie. So something's going to have to give. You're gonna have to try to get the story down, but there's a lot that's going to have to be cut in order to tell that story in an hour and 40 minutes or 2 hours. So
sure.
I can see how an author of a book would be upset with that process, but hey, maybe, when the royalty checks comes in, they won't be so mad about it.
That's true. So, when you write, why did you write a Western?
I have loved Westerns since I was a little kid. My favorite show was The High Chaparral.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yes.
Loved The High Chaparral. And watched Western movies. My favorite cowboy film star is Randolph Scott. And I've read there's no way to read them all. I don't think you could read them all if you had a lifetime, but Louis L'Amour.
Right.
I've read many, if not most, of his books. And so it's always been something that I have loved.
Because in today's world, you wouldn't think a Western would be that much on point.
Mm-hmm. It all depends on who's writing the Western.
Okay, all right.
Our Western is on point with a lot of things going on now.
Meaning?
My main character is dealing with severe trauma because he witnessed his family members being murdered when he was a little boy. So he's got a lot of emotional baggage. And I won't give the plot away.
Sure.
But he a big part of Long Shadows is the main character, Marcus Dollar, having to deal with the mental trauma that he has suffered.
Now, question. How could you write a story about somebody with a lot of mental trauma?
Because I've known a lot of people with mental trauma. A guy I used to work with had schizophrenia, and a good friend of mine from Greenville also has had schizophrenia. He takes his medications, and he's pretty much got it under control. But when I started writing Long Shadows, I started thinking about that. I started thinking about mental trauma and the things that they went through when they were children, and that kind of gave me the impetus to start writing building that as part of the story, is the mental trauma he goes through.
Did you research that? Did you research mental trauma or what people go through? Yes.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
so when you come down to making it real, you do your own research?
If you're a writer, you got to do research.
Oh, come on. You can't just sit there and say, come on, here it is, I got it.
Well, I think we've all had that experience where we go to the movies. Like, my dad was a car dealer, and he loved cars. And if we watched a movie on television that was supposed to take place, say, in 1953,
right,
he'd go, "That's a 57 Chevrolet right there." He would know. And so that people are like that. They watch those things, and you really got to make sure you got all your T's crossed and I's dotted, because people will see that and it will detract. So yeah, you really got to you got to put a lot of time into the research to make sure you get things right.
Right. And so when you write, do you write from the ending back to the beginning, or how do you write? I mean, I would think you'd have to have some focus as to where the story was going.
It starts with you have some idea, and you kind of fiddle around with that in your mind, and then you start realizing how a story might unfold with those elements. Then the smart thing to do is to wonder how the ending is going to be. You got to have, like setting out in a car, you don't know, you don't just set out and just try to happen upon your destination. You got to know what your destination is before you start that trip. Same with writing. You need to know what your ending point is so you can write toward that.
Right. So, and you were telling me that as you develop the characters, the characters start telling you what's going to happen.
That happens, and I thought maybe I was crazy,
right?
But after getting to know some other screenwriters who've been at it a while,
right,
that's not unusual at all. At first, you don't know the characters, but as you build the story,
right,
and the situations that they're in and how they make decisions and so forth, there comes a point about halfway through that the characters start telling you what they want to say rather than what you want to write.
Is that kind of scary?
It is a little bit, but the characters almost become real to you.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
yes.
and so you listen to them, and a lot of screenwriters, they'll write out an outline and they stick to it,
right,
no matter what. Sometimes that doesn't work for me, and it didn't work with Long Shadows. I had an outline, and I was following along. About halfway through, I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to do what you want to do rather than what I think you need to do. And so you write a scene, and then after that you go, okay, what happens next? And you write that scene, and then you just keep doing that until you get to the ending. Yes, it's a little crazy, but it's almost like your characters become real to you.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool, though. I mean, do you still talk to these friends of yours from the screenplay?
Well, the thing is, I don't talk to them.
Oh, they just talk to you?
They talk to me.
Are they still talking to you, or did they ever tell you, I don't really like the gal that y'all cast in that part?
Well, when I say they talk to me, I'm not. I don't mean they're dictating to me
right,
what I need to, where the story needs to go. It's just that I'll start writing dialogue, and rather than writing what I think is good dialogue, I'll start hearing it in their voice and writing what I think they want to say in that dialogue.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Now, you have a part in the movie also. So does Granger. Yes,
I do, and Granger is one of the central characters. He plays Sheriff Wesley Tibbs, and he does an amazing job. He's really, really good in this movie. We had one character who was the main character's lawyer at the end of the movie, and he had 2 lines. And because he had 2 lines, we tried to figure out a way to write the character out, but we couldn't because the 2 lines were really important to the courtroom scene. So I told William Shockley, the director, I said, William, I tell you what, if you'll put me and my son up in Tucson for a few days, 4 days, I'll do the roles free. And he agreed. So yeah, I got 2 lines at the end of the screenplay in the courtroom scene, or at the end of the movie in the courtroom scene. They wanted a beard, so I let my beard grow out big and bushy for the role.
Right.
And the second I got back to Abbeville, I shaved it off. I couldn't stand it.
Well, I think, wasn't it rather amazing that whole movie was shot in 20 days? Is that correct? Roughly.
It is amazing that can happen now. That wasn't the case 10, 15, 20 years ago, or even longer. I mean, back when you had actual film, it was a lot more involved. It was a much harder process. So films used to take a lot longer, but with today's technology in the film business, that's not bad for 20 days is 25, 30 days, whatever. That's very practical for a indie movie these days.
Well, what about the fact that it's being released nationally after its preview here in its opening right here in Greenwood?
Mm-hmm. That's pretty amazing too for me. Every screenwriter dreams of that happening, that they have a movie coming out in theaters And the way things worked out, that's what's going to happen. It will be at the Premier Cinemas in Greenwood on Thursday,
6th.
November 6th, and then the general national release will be on the 7th. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to play in every theater across the United States. There'll be select theaters all over the United States where it will play.
Now, has this played in smaller markets too, or was this released as an indie film, or no, or
it's been shown at
some festivals?
4 or 5 film festivals. It was at the Sarasota Film Festival, the Tucson Film Festival. There were some in Texas where it was shown, and I think it was in July. They have a film festival in El Paso called the Plaza Classic Film Festival, and I had not been to any of the other festivals, so I decided, what the heck, I'm gonna get over my fear of flying, and I'm gonna go to El Paso. And they have this beautiful theater there.
Really? Is it an old theater or a new theater?
It's a really old theater. I think it was built in the 20s. Alan Gilmer, who he and William Shockley and Tom Brady and Tiu Loju and some others, they're the ones who put together the production company. And Alan is from El Paso, so he worked really hard to get all that together, and that theater is just amazing. It's been completely renovated to its original state. And to go into that theater, and it's a big theater, and sit there with audience members and see Long Shadows on the big screen is pretty incredible experience.
How did it make you feel?
Like a dream come true. And it was. It's a dream come true, because I've worked so hard for so many years writing screenplays, hoping that one day something like that could happen, and it finally did. I was on cloud 9 for several days after seeing it on the big screen in El Paso.
Wow. I can only imagine. That would be pretty darn cool. Now, did you jump up afterwards and said, "Yes, I wrote it"?
Nah, there were a lot of the production company folks that were there, and some of the actors that were there.
Right.
Give you an interesting small story, I hope. One of the bad guys, one of the heavy guys, is named Jonathan Pesci, and boy, he is nasty in Long Shadows, and he's so good at what he does. I got to thinking in my mind, God, this guy must really be out there. Well, I met Jonathan at the El Paso Film Festival. They're just the nicest guy in the world, and we sat next to each other. We got along really well, and a lot of the other actors were there as well. So there were a lot of folks who were involved with the actual production, the actors and the film crew and so forth that were there among the general audience members.
That's cool. What was the response from the audience?
After the movie was over, we got a standing applause ovation. Everybody stood up and clapped and cheered. They really enjoyed it, and of course that was a very emotional experience for me to see that result.
Right, exactly. Well, I think that is terrific. Now, what does Long Shadows mean, or does that give something away if you tell us what that means?
Backtracking just a little bit, the original script was called Long Valley.
Long Valley, okay.
And then we changed it to Last Dollar, because the main character's name is Marcus Dollar. And for various reasons, they decided it was best to change the title. And they got a lot of input from many people, including me and Granger. And they decided that Long Shadows was an appropriate title. And it really is, because a lot of the characters, the main characters, all have something from their past that they're dealing with, something unpleasant or something that happened. And all of them are dealing with these incidents from their past, and they're dealing with those things in the present. So those incidences are carrying a long shadow over their lives.
Interesting.
And so, yeah, I think it's a really good title for it.
Now, when does this movie take place?
In the late 1880s.
Okay.
There was a lot of things going on back then, a lot of technical innovations in many ways, and in film, in the medical field and so forth, and a lot of that is included in the movie as far as how things were changing so fast long about that time.
Wow. Well, we are here today with Shelly Reid. He is a screenwriter, he's a musician, he's an actor, and it was his story originally, Shelly Reid's story on Long Shadows. And we are talking all about the movie that is going to debut right here in Greenwood on November 6th. But we're also talking a lot about his life and how he did things, how he's done things, and we got to get into the future too. So if you've got a question or a comment, maybe you're an aspiring screenwriter, or maybe you just like to say, "Hey Shelly, I remember you when." Give us a call, 864-332-9355. You know that's our new text and voice line that you can leave a message. We'll check that right away. And also the legacy line, 864-229-7984. We are going to hear a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. You are listening to WCRS right here in Greenwood. On Facebook Live, we will be listening to some music. On the radio, we'll be listening to some commercials. So you keep it right here. We'll be right back. Take it away. Cue music, and there we go.
WCRS Studios in Greenwood, South Carolina, this is Meet Me at the Diner with your host, Ann Eller.
Oh, that's right. We are having a good time here this afternoon talking with Shelly Reid. He is, he's from Abbeville. He owned the Roadhouse. I mean, that's probably what you're more famous for than anything else, right?
Rough House.
Rough House, excuse me, the Roadhouse, the Rough House. Yes, okay, we were just talking music, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that. Most people in Abbeville, that's where they know me from.
Yeah. So you can go just about anywhere you want in peace, right? Yeah. Yeah,
I run into people all the time that's really the special thing about running the Rough House is I made so many good friends and great customers over the years and quite often see them when I'm out and about in Abbeville and in Greenwood. So that's what I miss about the business is not seeing them.
Yeah, well, yeah, that would be a personal business. It's like the jewelry business. Mm-hmm. My husband and I were in the jewelry business. Right. Yes, you knew every time somebody had an event. Quite often, actually, we knew when people were breaking up in the jewelry business. But anyways, we're here with Shelly Reid. We're talking about his feature film coming out, Long Shadows. It is going to be playing at the Premier Theaters here on November 6th, a day before it goes on national release. Now, are there any tickets left, Shelly, or is it sold out? I know tickets were selling very, very well for this.
Last I checked, I think there's about 14 seats left.
Wow.
There's one single seat in the very back, and there's some on the second row. Right. On one side, I think there's like two sold on the front row. I think most people are like me; they don't like to sit right on the front row.
No, I don't like to. Yeah.
But based on the 7:00 show,
right?
Which Premier Cinemas considers that sold out.
Okay.
So I think it's safe to say that, except for maybe that one seat, or if you want to sit up front, the seats are still available.
Right.
So. If you'd like to sit in one of those locations, we'd love to have you.
That's true. Now, aren't you? Is Dr. Stevenson doing something special that night?
Yeah. Robert has been instrumental in this whole process of getting it to Greenwood. Granger and Robert and I have been kind of working together on it. And Lander is a big supporter and
well, the film festival
this.
You have been you guys you and Granger have been doing that for a couple of years now.
Yeah,
talking about
Robert, they're having a special showing for Lander, and that's at 6:45. And Robert has been super and very helpful in getting all this put together.
I think that's terrific.
Yeah.
We should have a hometown celebration, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. So we've been talking about his movie, Long Shadows. What was its name before it was Long Shadows?
Originally, it was called Long Valley. And then
now, Long Valley has kind of a weird sound to it. So what did Long Valley mean in your mind? Because that was your name for it.
Well, of my many interests, geology and volcanism and plate tectonics and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's just what I'm super interested in. And Long Valley, California has one of the largest supervolcano caldera. It'd be cool to base the story there,
right,
in and around that to show some of that. So that was my original intention, but we eventually wound up putting the location being in Tucson at Old Tucson Studios, and so we moved to Arizona, and now it's called Long Shadows.
We just had a question come in, and Chris, my biggest fan, said, Shelly, how was it when you were on the movie Radio?
Ooh. Is that the same Chris I know?
Big Chris Whiteman,
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, hey Chris, how are you?
Yeah.
Radio was a lot of fun. I played a policeman, as I almost always did when I was doing films and television shows. I either played guards or policemen or security guards, anybody in a uniform. And my scene was when they bring Cuba Gooding Jr. as radio. When they bring him into the police station, they arrest him, and two cops are sitting there eating
Rough House hot dogs.
I think we were eating sandwiches or something, and they bring radio in, and then and then the scene goes to where he's sitting with us watching a basketball game. So we had a lot of time sitting there, the three of us, and Cuba Gooding Jr. is just a super nice guy. We talked about our families. He told me about his kids, and I told him about my kids. And consummate professional. The guy's amazing.
That's cool. That's cool. Now, you were telling me that part of your problem with your career was you were too tall. I found that interesting.
I've lost a lot of roles because of my height. I'm not so tall anymore. I guess my age is catching up with me. But back then, when I was going to film auditions in the 80s and 90s, I was 6'4".
Right.
And a lot of the big stars are not tall. For some reason, the camera, or at least this is my idea, the camera just really likes shorter people.
Well, it doesn't have to focus up or go high or low, right?
And, and so if your main characters are not as tall,
right,
they don't want to cast somebody who is towering over them during that scene, because their main characters need to look. Your eye needs to go to them, so you don't need a big tall cop in the background.
That is pretty fun. I think that's pretty funny, though, when you think about it. Here we have a bunch of, like you said, they're a lot more shorter than they are taller. You were talking about with some of the characters, so that's another interesting point. So, are you working on anything else?
I have a thriller horror I started on. Got about 30 pages into it, and sometimes this happens. You just run out of steam, and you just have to put it down a while, which is what I'm doing. The Christmas play that I wrote, Tell It on the Mountain, which was staged at the Abbeville Opera House in 2022, we sold out every performance. So I had the idea that, heck, I ought to make a Christmas movie out of it, because Christmas movies are really popular. So I adapted it into a screenplay. That's the last thing I've been working on.
And you have that out to be looked at, correct?
I'm sorry?
You have that out to be looked at? You have it out?
I've sent it out to a few production companies, but I haven't heard anything yet. But we'll see.
Are you a patient man?
No. Well, I take that back. I'm patient in a lot of ways.
Yes. But
when it comes to career and work, I'm not patient.
So, do you ever put play? You were talking about this horror thriller one you've kind of set aside. Do you work on more than one at one time?
Not normally. One script at a time, one screenplay at a time, and it has happened. I've got 3 or 4 that I've gotten stuck on, and I just have to put it down a while and come back to it. And when that happens, I'll start on the next one.
I find when I'm working on, whether it's a commercial or an idea for doing a show or something, that I just I'll be thinking about it, and somebody else, well, tell me about it, and I can't, and then all of a sudden it just comes to me. It's just like boom, and it's crystal clear what I want to do.
That works. If you tell, like, and my kids probably want to hang me because I'm always telling them about what I'm writing, but when you got all those ideas floating around in your mind,
right?
You kind of know, but then when somebody asks you or you tell somebody what it is that you have on your mind, it all starts coming together.
Right. Yeah.
So that's beneficial to tell somebody what it is you're working on.
Right. But sometimes it's just like, and I agree, and that's why it's hard to work on stuff by yourself. Now, when do you feel you're most creative?
Mornings usually. That's my best time. But every now and then, I get creative at night and will stay up late writing or rewriting, because writing is rewriting.
Writing is rewriting?
Writing is rewriting. You write something out and then you rewrite it and rewrite it and rewrite it until you get it the way you want it. So I'll have some rewrite ideas late at night sometimes, and that might keep me up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Do you ever, so are you, and do you ever go, oh my God, it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you've just lost all sense of time?
Many times. And so I'll just say, okay, got to go to bed. And I'll just jump up and just forget about it and go to bed.
So do you like to type it? Do you like to write it longhand? What do you like to do?
I'm a typer. I know that there are some screenwriters who like to write out, but eventually it's got to be put on the page.
Right.
And I use screenwriting software to put it all together. And I learned how to typewrite when I was in high school.
Right.
I learned how to do that, but I did not use it for decades. So when when computers started really getting hot and you had to start,
right.
So I'm a hunt and pecker, and I still am. I never was able to get that back as far as how to properly type. So yeah, I'm like this.
Now, I don't suppose you do this, but I'm just going to ask. Do you ever use like ChatGPT to help you crystallize an idea or a location or something? The AI?
That's really controversial right now, because a lot of screenwriters are actually using AI to create scripts, which I think is abominable.
Right.
I don't care what you do. Now, this is just my opinion. I don't care what you do. The human element is not there. The human emotion, and you've got to have that when you're writing, because you're putting your feelings and emotions on the page. I don't use it for writing. However, I have used Grok AI, which is on X, for screenplay analysis. It goes through and gives you an analysis of the screenplay, the characters, the situations, the act breaks, and so forth like that.
What you've written, it tells you whether you've completed your mission or not. Is that what you're saying? Or are talking about somebody else's play or screenplay?
I put in ones that I have written, and it gives me an analysis, a breakdown of the story, and the scenes, and so forth like that. And it helped seeing it like that in an analytic form spurs more creativity. And I say, oh, okay, well, I need to work on that, or I need to fix that. So
does it ever say, this is crap, don't even go any further?
Not in those words.
It let you down easy, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it lets you down pretty easy.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I get all the time. Oh, that's crap idea, and come up with something else.
I was a little bit skeptical of it, but I thought, well, hell, what the heck?
Right.
So I put one in there, and I thought, wow, it's not bad analysis of what I've written. And so I do that occasionally. I'll put a screenplay in there and get an AI analysis of it, which helps me in my creative process.
Sure. And so, yeah, well, that's cool. All right, so you liked working in a group with Shockley and Granger. You like that synergy that comes together out of that? Oh, yeah.
William did you ever used to watch Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman?
Mm-hmm.
William was on that. He did a bunch of episodes. He played Hank in that show. So William has been around the business a long time, and Granger's been in the business a long time. So both of them brought really good ideas to the story, and the process of Zooming with them and working on the script and working on the shooting script and so forth was very rewarding, and I enjoyed working with both of them a lot.
That's cool. That's cool. I think that you... as we get ready to close this out, doesn't feel like it's been an hour, does it?
No, it doesn't.
But as we get ready to close this out, What would you like to see in your future?
I want to sell some more screenplays.
Okay, great. And you're working on a couple right now. Well, you're working on one or two.
Yeah, I just finished the Christmas movie. I just finished it, and Granger's reading it right now, by the way, to give me some feedback on it.
But is it a Western Christmas story or no?
No. It takes place modern day.
Modern day.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not a one-trick pony. I do write in other genres. I've written science fiction thriller, also supernatural. I got a rom-com, takes place in Myrtle Beach. I've written a couple of screenplays that were based on actual events, and I'm just kind of all over the place when it comes to genre. I know a lot of screenwriters stick with one genre, and that's fine. Like I say, whatever works for you, but for me, I get bored with one thing, and I need to go to something else. So I write in different genres.
I would be interested, and this is just an off-the-wall question, with America 250 coming up and with all the history and everything that Abbeville has in it, had you thought about doing anything along with that has to do with the history with Abbeville?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't thought about anything like that.
Well, because Abbeville is right in the thick of everything there. And
Right.
Of course, First Blood over there in 96, that was a huge part of the American Revolution and everything.
Are you familiar with the actor Nick Searcy?
No.
Yeah, Nick. I used to see Nick on auditions when I was going on auditions back in the day, and Nick went out to Los Angeles and has done very well as an actor. And I follow him on X, and Nick has written a screenplay that's based on the South Carolina Revolutionary War and and what happened here, and so he's done that. He hasn't so far has not been able to get any takers on him, but I hope he does because I love history too.
Right. Well, I just thought that, there is so much coming in. Now, how about the acting part? Do you want to do more acting, or are you more into, at this stage of your life, as being the screenwriter, the behind-the-scenes screenwriter?
I would definitely take a role if something comes my way. I love acting, and I especially love stage acting. Unfortunately, there's not really a lot of roles for older guys like me anymore, so that's kind of in my past. But yeah, if a role came along for a feature film and television that I could do and I could get the role, I'd be happy as I could be.
That's cool. It seems like you have found your space in where you wanted to be, and you're doing it, and I think that's terrific, Shelly Reid.
Well, thank you. I just wished it had happened when I was 30.
Don't we all? Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But better late than never.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what I like to do. I love writing, and I love writing screenplays. So I'm doing what I like to do.
And you're able to support yourself with it.
Well, I've only sold one feature film.
Okay.
Since I'm retired, I have a little bit of retirement that I live off of. So I'm able to get by.
Okay. Are you going out and celebrate when this movie breaks?
I'm sure there will be a celebration somewhere. There might be one immediately after the shows in Greenwood.
Right.
I don't know where that will be or how that'll shape up, but if there is, I'll certainly be there.
Well, that sounds great.
By the way, we're having questions and answers after each show.
That's right.
We're going to do like 15-minute question. Granger and I will do and Robert will do a 15-minute question and answer after each one of the shows.
I think that's great. I think it's great that Robert was able to set this up with the theaters and to bring it all home to Granger. What a statement about, we have so many great people that come out of Greenwood and Abbeville, don't we?
We really do. Robert, he makes me tired just looking at him. I mean, he's so busy and he does so much. Mm-hmm. And he works so hard, and we're just very fortunate to have Robert on our side with this, and Lander University on our side.
Absolutely.
With the showings that are going to take place on Friday, November the 6th.
Sure, absolutely, and but when you think about some of our musical talent that has come out of, Keith Jameson,
Right.
Nat Chandler. I mean, look at all the people that. What is it? Is there something in the
Swinging
water?
medallions.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? It's pretty amazing when you look at all the people, and then you take somebody like Freddie McClendon here today. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of talented people. Gosh, some of the best stage actors I have ever worked with are on the stage of the Abbeville Opera House and also here at the Greenwood Community Theater. Just tremendous talents,
Right.
and they're just happy doing their stage work. They don't really want to take it beyond that. Although I know a lot of them that could have gone beyond that. But yeah, there's a lot of talented, artistically talented people in Abbeville and Greenwood.
That's true. Well, Shelly Reid, you are one of those talented people, and it's been a pleasure having you here this afternoon on WCRS Meet Me at the Diner.
Well, thank you, Ann. I appreciate you having me on. And if nothing else, I'm back behind the microphone after all those years in radio.
Yeah, you told me you had a 1960s, of what was it, 1960s?
Oh, yeah. Back when I started in radio, you had to talk like this. And I had a little bit of that in my voice back then, but everything has changed now. You don't do that anymore. You just use your regular voice now.
Right.
But that was the school I came up in. But it's radio, of course, has been a big part of my life. So I appreciate you asking me to be here, and it's been a real pleasure talking with you.
Absolutely. I've enjoyed it a lot, too. We have been talking with Shelly Reid. He is the screenwriter, one of the screenwriters. It was his story on Long Shadows, and the premiere is Thursday, November 6th, the day before it gets released out there, and it has been an absolute pleasure to sit down and have him on the air with us this afternoon. I hope if you're not going to be able to get to the premiere because it's sold out, that you'll see it on another screen. Now, is it coming to Greenwood, do you know, afterwards?
I don't have a list of the theaters where it will be shown.
Okay.
That has not been generally released yet, but when it does, I probably will post it to my Facebook timeline so other friends that I have around the country can plan on seeing it in their city. But I don't know exactly where it's going to be,
right?
Where it's going to come out.
Well, anyways, it'll be out there. You'll be able to see it. I am Ann Eller, and I'll be back in the morning, so I'll look forward to being with y'all in the morning. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. This is WCRS Radio right here in Greenwood, and we have had a good time here today. That's going to cue the music. End of the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye, everybody. We'll be back in the morning right here on WCRS Radio. Okay, well, maybe not. Maybe we'll have to stay on the air this afternoon forever. That's right. Well, looks like the system is froze up. Oh, well, have a good one, everybody. I'm Ann Eller. This is WCRS. Take it away. We'll be back in the morning. And let's see where we're at. It's time for another show. Take it away. And that'll do it for us, everybody. Bye-bye.